Coming up on Naperville News 17, could the Naperville Township Road District be dissolved? Students show up for service on their day off. And check out what chugged its way into the Morton Arboretum. Hello everyone, I'm Kim Pierce. Thanks for joining us for this week's Naperville News. A federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit against District 203 and the city of Naperville filed by the parents of a boy who died by suicide after having a disciplinary meeting with Naperville North High School officials. The parents of 16-year-old Corey Walgren claimed that in January 2017, school officials caused, quote, extreme, intolerable, and excessive emotional and physical distress and violated their son's rights when they met with him without his parents present and insinuated that a suspected recording on his phone could result in him having to register as a sex offender. Walgren left the meeting and later jumped off a parking deck. The judge in the case ruled that the threshold to prove Corey's rights had been violated had not been met and that the questioning methods used, though, quote, harsh and aggressive, were ordinary interrogation tactics. The door is open for refiling a new complaint or appeal, though the family has not commented on any plans to do so. Neko Valley High School will be saying goodbye to its principal at the end of the school year. NVHS principal Bob McBride will be stepping down from his post after over 10 years in the position. He's leaving to take a new job as superintendent of Lockport High School District 205, replacing current superintendent Dr. Todd Wernett, who's retiring on June 30th. McBride will assume his new role on July 1st. A new question on Naperville Township residents' ballots could void a previous referendum. Our own Casey Krajewski has the details.
Naperville Township and Lisle Township voters elected to merge their two road districts in 2017. But a new referendum could render that decision void.
It's a very new law. It took effect January 2018. And the law basically states that a municipality or township can incorporate the roads into the township and take over the roadship's debt and all of its assets and eliminate the road commissioner's position only.
A question on the April 2nd ballot will ask voters if this new law should be instituted. But this time, only Naperville Township will weigh in. If they vote yes, it will overrule the previous vote.
And the confusion here is on the referendum prior to the enactment of the law, we were supposed to merge with Lisle. That is a binding referendum, but this law was not in effect when this binding referendum took place. Therefore, it gives the Naperville Townships an option.
If residents vote to dissolve the Highway Commission, that would likely void the 2017 referendum, as the Lisle Township Road District cannot merge with a government entity that no longer exists. If residents vote to keep their Highway Commission, the townships would be required to complete the merger by 2021. A written statement from Lisle Township Highway Commissioner Ed Young read, "The Lisle Road District doesn't know what effect, if any, Naperville Township referendum would have on the consolidation of the Lisle-Naperville Road Districts, approved by both townships' electorate in April 2017. The Highway Commissioner is consulting with the Lisle Township trustees and supervisor. That merger would create an annual tax decrease of about $24 for Lisle Township residents, and a $3 tax increase for the average Naperville Township resident, something Bedford hopes will sway voters to dissolve the Highway Commission."
I believe in this, or I would not have gone down this road with the blessings of now the board and with the blessings of the committee, the working committee, and hopefully we will get the blessings of the Naperville Township residents to move forward.
Bedford said Naperville Township Highway Commissioner Richard Novinger is also in favor of dissolving the commission, even though it would eliminate his own position. For Naperville News 17, I'm Casey Krajewski.
There are 3 information sessions scheduled to discuss the referendum, the first of which will be held January 30th at the Naperville Municipal Center. Naperville's two mayoral candidates met in the first candidate forum of the 2019 election season. Naperville News 17's Blaine Irwin was there.
Mayor Steve Chirico and challenger Rocky Kaler recently participated in a mayoral candidate forum. Instead of facing off like a debate, they both spent 30 minutes in front of the audience alone, and both answered the same series of questions on topics ranging from the environment to city services and, of course, development. Chirico says development is one of his priorities.
Economic development. This is critical if we're going to continue to fund great schools. They have but one lever to pull, and that's property taxes. We need to have a strong local economy and a diverse tax base to secure long-term funding for the schools and parks.
Kaler emphasized caution when approaching modern development.
Respectful or responsible strategic development. I'm pro-development if it's done right. We're at our borders. We've got infill going on now, redevelopment. We have to sit with the neighborhoods. We have to find out what's compatible.
When asked about Naperville's affordable housing, Kaler agreed it is a problem, but did not specify a solution.
We have seniors that I've listened to them talk at the council chambers. They'd love to be downtown. There's nothing affordable for them here.
Chirico said the city has been trying to improve the situation, but said it's difficult to get support for affordable homes like apartments.
Because the neighbors never want development around their home, and that's just the way it works. So we need to balance that with the needs of the whole community.
The forum was hosted by Indivisible Naperville and a number of other grassroots political organizations. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Blaine Irwin.
Election Day is April 2nd, and you can follow NCTV 17 for more information about all the candidates running for local office. After the break, North Central welcomes a new representative at their annual MLK Prayer Breakfast.
We tell everybody's stories big and small. Everybody's story matters to us, and it comes in a variety of shapes and sizes, and that's what makes it so special. We don't always need a big story. Sometimes we want a story that makes us laugh. Sometimes we want a story that we relate to. Sometimes we want to cry with that story. But more importantly, we want to hear the stories about our people in the community.
We live in a safe community, but not a crime-free community. If you see something, say something. Be a Naperville Crime Stopper.
U.S. Representative Lauren Underwood came to North Central College to give the keynote address for the annual Martin Luther King Jr. Prayer Breakfast. Naperville News 17's Blaine Irwin was there.
North Central College students, faculty, and members of the Naperville community rose bright and early to be at the college's annual Martin Luther King Jr. Prayer Breakfast. Usually, the college brings in an alumnus to speak, but this year, U.S. Representative Lauren Underwood delivered the keynote address, reflecting on Dr. King's words that have inspired her.
Faith is taking the first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. Faith, he said. And that's what it felt like when I decided to run for office. I could not see the whole staircase. I couldn't even see more than a few steps in front of me, so it took a little faith.
The newly elected Congresswoman is the youngest black woman to serve in the U.S. House of Representatives. She was invited to the campus by a professor, and a recent North Central College grad helped make it happen.
One of her assistants, Ashley Clayton, is an alum of the college and graduated in 2018 and was able to coordinate the visit.
Following Congresswoman Underwood's speech, the college chaplain closed with a prayer and some words from Dr. King himself.
Let us be dissatisfied until America will no longer have a high blood pressure of creeds and an anemia of deeds.
MLK Day rings a historical bell at North Central College, too. Dr. King visited the campus in 1960, gave a speech in Pfeiffer Hall, and later met with students and faculty. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Blaine Irwin.
Next year, North Central College will cancel classes on the morning of Martin Luther King Jr. Day to emphasize the service aspect of the holiday. Mattia Valley students took full advantage of their day off on Martin Luther King Jr. Day by using it to help others. Naperville News 17's Christian Canizel tells us more.
There was no need for students to catch their bus as schools were closed for Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. But about 200 Mattia Valley High School students still showed up to campus bright and early, ready to use their day off to do good.
This is like a day where we put aside our own problems and come together as one whole to help out and help others and bring smiles to the world.
Students headed out to 10 different organizations, including the SciTech Hands-On Museum in Aurora and Loaves and Fishes Community Services right here in Naperville. Their day of service including helping painting benches and packaging goods for those in need.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day to me is a day of service where we can sort of ignore our own problems and help people with more substantial problems.
This is the 5th year Mattia Valley has been bringing students together to honor the contributions of Dr. King by making a difference themselves.
Well, we're the most diverse high school in District 204, and so we have a lot of different cultures, creeds, races coming together every day, 2,900 students. And so we try to do events like this so that we can celebrate our diversity and make it our strength.
Uniting for a cause by turning a day off into a day on. For Naperville News 17, I'm Christian Canizel.
The District 204 School Board approved the 2019-2020 school calendar at their latest meeting. The new school year will start on August 19th and, unless there are some snow days, end on May 28th. Of note is the inclusion of 3 half-day school improvement days due to a new state code, and all 204 schools will be closed on March 17, 2020, as it is the day of primary voting for the 2020 presidential election. A few school board members mentioned the idea of renaming Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, even though Columbus Day is currently referenced by name in state code.
I don't think it needs to happen this time around, but I would like to see us have that discussion at this table rather than kind of getting a consensus from feedback that we're not all aware of, so we could have a good discussion around it.
For the next school year at least, Columbus Day will remain on the calendar as is. Naperville School District 203 is revising its assessment practices. The Board of Education adopted a 3-year contract with Northwest Evaluation Association, or NWEA, for their MAP growth assessment. This benchmark literacy and numeracy assessment system for students in kindergarten through 8th grade will replace the Performance Series assessment, which 203 has looked to replace for over a year.
This seemed like the time to move towards something a bit more contemporary that lent itself to supporting our improvements with respect to school improvement plans, understanding students' growth, and just moving in a direction with an assessment system that's an evolving system.
Administration also says MAP growth will be better in predicting and measuring student performance and improvement, especially on key assessments like the SAT. Implementation of MAP growth will begin in the 2019-2020 academic year. And 203 parents may like to know that the board passed the pilot breakfast program, which will begin at 4 schools this February. Coming up, Naperville North takes on a powerful production.
Medici Neapolitan Pizza has created the magic of an Italian piazza right in downtown Naperville. Choose from the freshest ingredients available, and all their sauces are prepared on site. Enjoy salads with dressings made from scratch, to shareable plates that celebrate the flavors of Italy, to the pizza of your dreams. From the olive tree in the center of the restaurant to the imported Italian wood-fired oven, if you want a more authentic Italian experience, you need a passport.
The Naperville Area Chamber of Commerce is done with luncheons. Enter Business Unplugged. The Chamber recently held their first Business Unplugged event. The new event series is replacing traditional chamber banquet luncheons with buffet-style food and networking.
We have been doing luncheons for a long time. We used to do them every month. And what we've learned is that we would have some great attendance, some not great attendance, and that maybe it was time to make it less frequent but more quality over quantity.
Business Unplugged also features panels meant to give chamber members some new knowledge they can use in their businesses. And the events will be held at different times of day, so it's easier for members to find events they can attend. This was the first of 5 Business Unplugged events to be held this year. A future Naperville park could be getting some funding help from the state. The Naperville Park District recently went down to Springfield to apply for an Open Space Lands Acquisition and Development, or OSLOD grant, for the planned Southwest Community Park, which will sit at the intersection of Wolf's Crossing Road and Trumpet Avenue. Their application for a $400,000 grant is one of 108 projects that are seeking funding from the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. OSLOD grants are awarded to local governments to develop land for public outdoor recreation. Park District officials said that the IDNR doesn't know when the application results will be announced, but they typically aim to make a decision in time for the construction season. The Park District has already taken out $11 million of loans to fund Phase 1 of Southwest Community Park. Nearly 2,000 students from Mattia Valley High School were medically scanned for potential heart problems.
Well, there are a variety of cardiac conditions that can be detected with an electrocardiogram. They have long medical names like hypertrophic cardiomyopathy and arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. But these conditions, although they're not common, they're not rare, and they could be present upwards of 1 in 1,000 students.
The procedure students underwent, called electrocardiogram, or EKG for short, searches for irregular heart rhythms and also checks for thickened heart muscles, which may lead to heart failure.
There's nothing that I can imagine more tragic than losing a young adult to a condition that might be identifiable and preventable. As parents, we do all sorts of crazy things for our kids because they're the most important thing, and I think that this is reasonable for us to do these EKGs. They're quick, simple, painless. We can identify these young adults and get them treatment and management before it creates a catastrophe.
The event was organized by Young Hearts for Life. This is the 6th year they have screened Mattia Valley students. Young Hearts for Life will also be visiting Neuqua Valley and Waubonsie Valley in the coming months. Naperville North High School's latest show remembers the tragic death of Matthew Shepard just over 20 years ago. Naperville News 17's Christine Lena takes us to the Laramie Project.
There's been a great increase in the number of transgender students, as well as gay students in the school, and so I thought it was really important for us to shed some light on the challenges that they're facing and try and help create more acceptance for them in our school.
That notion led Naperville North to launch a production of the Laramie Project.
Laramie Project is a really important, impactful, powerful piece of theater that is about the death of a gay man 20 years ago, Matthew Shepard.
The play's script is made up of real-life interviews with residents of Laramie, Wyoming, and those closely connected to the murder of 21-year-old Matthew Shepard.
What's the difference if you're gay or straight? A hate crime is a hate crime. If you murder somebody, you hate them.
In October 1998, Shepard was beaten, tortured, and left to die because he was gay. All interviews were conducted as the trial unfolded, allowing the play to reveal authentic reactions to the hate crime.
There were at least 500 people walking from Matthew. 500 people! Can you imagine?
Acting it out, you have to think this is something that a real person said and what they really believed. And with that, we're absolutely not hiding anything. With all the fact that we have all the F words about homosexuals is just, it's what was said. And with that, we don't want to hide that because we want to be able to log like the history and be able to reflect on it.
Each cast member takes on 4 to 6 roles, leaving them with lessons as an actor and as a person.
It was incredible being able to play a character that was close friends with Matthew and characters that deal with prejudice every day in their hometown. You know, Zachy talks about how she would be afraid to walk down the street and hold hands with her partner.
And I think it's because somewhere inside, we all know what could happen to us at any time.
Being able to play that character and something that I can't imagine going through was really interesting to help me understand what those people go through every day. And I think the audience, from seeing that, can feel a part of that and hopefully be changed in that way too.
The Laramie Project takes center stage at Naperville North's Auditorium January 25th, 26th, and 27th. Reporting from Naperville North High School, I'm Christine Lena for Naperville News 17.
The play is also raising money for LGBTQ+ organizations and the Matthew Shepard Foundation at the door. Up next, grab your skates and get ready to meet the Aurora 88s.
From practice to homework to home improvement to bills, your days are busy. That's why Busey offers innovative financial solutions like our mobile app. Deposit checks, transfer funds, and keep your financial life in order, no matter where you are. Whether you're saving for college, keeping the family in the family business, or planning your dream retirement, Busey's your trusted partner to make your personal, business, and wealth management dreams a reality. Busey, your dream, our promise.
Biggest one is that we're just beating each other up, like shoving each other elbows, throwing them into walls. People don't really think about flat track versus bank track. There's a lot of different types of derby. There's USARs and Wiftada and Murda and Maid and Jurda, and there's so many types of derby. So the biggest misconception is that we're all bank track, just beating each other up, and that's not it at all.
Welcome to roller derby, or welcome back. The sport has been around for 70 years. That was number 25, Big Papa, an 8-year vet. And these are the Aurora 88s, the local roller derby team, and they're looking to recruit some new players.
It's a really open, friendly community. I really like how we all support each other if we're having a rough day or if we're super psyched. We just feed off of that positive energy. It's really contagious.
We accept people from all walks of life, and then when we all come together for it, it's just like it all is magical. For people that are thinking about starting up and are on the fence, like do it or don't do it, try it. Just try it.
The premise of the game is as follows. There are 2 30-minute halves. A jam is a 2-minute period within the half, in which time each team tries to outscore the other. Points are scored by the jammer, whose goal it is to outlap as many opponents as possible. Thunder Buns is the captain as she goes into her 9th season of roller derby. For her, it's not just a game.
Derby for me is important because I have to stay active, and coming to a team of women that wants to be competitive, wants to push each other to go harder, and wants to make each other stronger is like the most refreshing thing from the everyday life.
I enjoy roller derby because I'm a mom and I work and I have so many things going on at once, like going in my head at once, and when I come to practice, I only concentrate on derby. It's the only thing I think about, and it's like a mental break for me. And as far as the league, I just love everybody here. They're all I like the sisterhood, I like the camaraderie.
Kiss with a Fist is entering her 6th season after moving to the area and looking for a team. She found a home with the 88s, who practice twice a week while either hosting or traveling to matches once a month.
Anybody at any age can jump in and say, hey, I want to try something new. And, we're always here to help you learn.
And that's why the 88s are offering boot camps on January 20th, January 27th, and February 3rd, while also holding a tryout on February 10th.
Just knowing that I have this solid group of support to always fall back on, it's going to last a lifetime. And that in itself is rewarding.
For more information, go to aurora88s.com. Reporting for Sports Story Sunday, I'm Kevin Jackman.
If you have a sports feature idea we should know about, send it in to newstips@nctv17.com. If you're looking for something fun while staying out of the cold, the Enchanted Railroad may be just the ticket. Naperville News 17's Antonia Acuna takes us to the Morton Arboretum.
All aboard! With nearly 500 feet of track and 16 miniature trains, the Morton Arboretum's Enchanted Railroad stands at the perfect height for kids to enjoy the scenery.
And we love having a place for kids to come during the winter and get out of the house and come here. It is so much fun for families to come, at least after the holidays, to just get moving again and break that cabin fever.
Kids can watch trains whip around the tracks, get interactive by pushing buttons along the 2-story display to see lights shine bright, or get their favorite train chugging along. And they may even see familiar sights from the Arboretum like a mini-sized stroll. It's all the work of the LGB Model Railroad Club of Chicago, who've been setting up the exhibit for 18 years. This time around, member Kevin Kell brought out a set of his own trolleys.
I've been a serious model railroader since 1974. My wife gave me a train set for our first Christmas together, and she's paid the price ever since.
The exhibit is free with admission, but you'll need a time ticket to get in. And, new this year, sensory-friendly times were added for kids who may be sensitive to the sights and sounds of the exhibit.
It's just a way where we kind of keep the lights down a little bit, keep the sound down a little bit, and keep the capacity to a minimum so folks can enjoy. They can put on headphones if it's a little overstimulating, and it's a great way for every child to be able to explore the exhibit.
These G-scale trains run electrically and are durable enough to withstand indoor and outdoor environments, and even the littlest hands. Reporting for Naperville News 17, I'm Antonia Acuna.
The railroad will be on track through February 24th. And that's what's happening right here in your neighborhood, Naperville. We'll see you next week. Until then, if you have a story idea, you can let us know at newstips@nctv17.com.
This week's Naperville News 17 is brought to you in part by the following sponsors. This program is partially funded by a grant from the City of Naperville.